Hey everybody, and welcome to the FFL Solidity team call. My name is Marisa Maggio, and today is October 24th of 2024. Super excited to be on with you guys today, coming out of the Ignite event, which was absolutely amazing. I had the chance to meet a lot of you guys, see a lot of you guys, and spend some time with different people who gave different insight. And we do have a very special guest on with us today, somebody who is near and dear to my heart, but also just an absolute beast in this business, doesn't make excuses, shows up, gets it done each and every time. We have Miss Karyn Giles on with us today. How did I do with that, Karyn?
You did amazing. Thank you, Marisa.
Absolutely, you got it. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to be on with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. And KG, for those that don't know you on this call, which most do, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of what got you looking into the insurance industry, what were you doing before that, and how did you land a family first life?
Okay, yeah, it's a story. So, before insurance, I was working 5 jobs. I was working 2 to 3 jobs, 7 days a week with a college degree. Don't ask me why. I like making money, but I thought, hard work equals success, which it does, just not the way that I was doing it, right? And I was always looking for something different. As time went on, I kind of got tired of the hustle and bustle with bartending and working 5 jobs, and I wanted a career. And I had 2 routes that I could go. My family was trying to set me up with being, I think it was like a manager at AT&T or something, which I did not want to do. But I'm like, I need some consistent money. And then I was constantly being referred to the practice company that I came from. So anyway, long story short, I ended up at the practice company, and the other thing kind of fell through, which was good that it did. And that's how I started on my journey with, insurance. I saw young people that I thought were making money, that were excited, and they talked about, financial freedom and, money and changing your life. I was sold out to the crusade of wanting to build a business to change my life, right? Well, I was there 6 years, way too long, and went through a ton of stuff there. It sucks being a captive agent on top of not having leads and many more. So you can kind of tell what company I came from. But all in all, at the end, when I pretty much had everything taken from me and just kind of went through everything, I actually went back to bartending. So if you can just imagine, I gave 1,000% to a company that I really thought that that was gonna be my end all be all, and to have to go back to ground zero and not know what the next steps or the next picture looked like. So I was struggling, and with a college degree, with being with a company for 6 years, I was struggling to find a job, like struggling. So the only thing I knew how to do was bartend, which I went back to bartending. And then I think like a month or two later, I'm gonna be talking to you guys while I open the door for my son because I'm a mom. So
That's okay.
yeah, so while so like I think maybe like a couple months later, COVID happened, and then I walked through the door, and boom, thank you, no more, no more restaurants. They shut everything down, right?
Right.
So, and I could probably can, keep going, baby. I don't know the timeline from when she called me or whatever, but basically it was like she found out I was bartending. She was like, "You need to come check this out, look into this," and which was Family First Life. I think it was like 4.5 or 5 years ago or something like that, maybe less. Um, and so yeah, like what I did was, to make a long story short, I didn't have any money. I had nothing. I had like maybe $1 and some change. And at that time, you could actually go to the gas station and overdraw your card and get gas. So that's what I did. I overdrew my card, like $20, filled up my gas tank. At that time, I don't know if y'all know the story about Khalid. She was living in the blue room, right, at that time before she changed her entire life. So I drove all the way on the other side of the highway to go drive around with her on 10 in-home appointments. Well, she closed one, but after I saw it, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is all you do? Because we come from a company where we're having to do like a 30-minute to an hour presentation to then like bait and switch. you know, that's if they qualify for term. So
Right.
it was a lot. It was a lot. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I got so excited that we can just get straight to the point. Like, you know why I'm here. I know why I'm here. if we got the same goals, let's do it together and close the deal, right? Um, on top of being able to do what's right for the client and offer whatever it is they qualify for, and just being able to kind of help everybody, well, most of everybody. So anyway, that very next day, I was ready to rip and run. And so I think the first 6 months I did like, because I wasn't in business a whole year, I think it was like almost 200,000 or something like that. So
That's
yeah, and ever since, but here's the thing though, I didn't know what I was doing. And then I did have some issues with being slightly coachable at first, because you come from another insurance company and you're just like, to think to have to start over as a new agent somewhere else. I thought I knew it. I thought I knew what I was doing, and I didn't. So Colleen and I had like a little rough patch in the beginning where she was like, call me in the home. And I'm like, no, they're gonna let me back in. No, they didn't. And I went through those rough patches. But the cool part is, once I started being coachable, once I started following the system, once I started listening to my coaches and just and being connected to them, and calling Frank and calling Kali and calling, the people that I need to reach out to, right? Which, like, yeah, Nathan said, like, which equates to unmuting yourself and getting on live dials and being plugged in. Everything changed. My first month, I made like 5 grand. My second month, I made 8 grand. My third month, I made 16 grand. Now, keep in mind, I was still on the fence with the other company because I had been there so long. I didn't think there was something better, right? I was like, let me just dip my toe, let me see, right? And once I made that 16 grand, even the 8 grand, I was like, I have never seen this much money in my bank account, period. I sent a letter or email to the other company, terminate me now, because everybody needs to know about this. I can't wait to tell everyone about it. And since then, it's been on the up and up from there. Now, I went through my rough business patches, right? I think everybody does. But the cool part is you make money still, and you grow from things. It's very different. It doesn't matter where you sell insurance, period.
Amen. And honestly,
Yeah,
like that's huge. So, KG, you were bartending again, after your practice company. COVID hits, and you were there for 7 years. You said
6 years.
6 years. Okay, so 6 years. Like, guys, seriously, think about this right now.
Yeah,
So 6 years of her life, right? Like, she's at a captive company, probably barely making ends meet. Not to speak for you, KG. That's what you basically just said, right?
definitely.
Like, she didn't walk in at an 80% comp with leads and an infrastructure. Like, she walked in and she was excited about an opportunity, just like I was, by the way. I was with the captive company too. But from there, it's about, hey, what can we turn around and do about it? It's like ignorance is bliss. Like, I knew what I knew in the industry. Kind of sounds like the same thing with you, KG. But when
Yeah.
you were able to connect with Kylie, hop in the car with her, like you said, she had 10 in homes, she wrote one, and you were still like, okay, let's do this thing, right? And making
Yeah.
that actual decision is amazing, because that's when it changes, right? When you
Yeah.
called to terminate my contract, right?
Now.
Yeah,
Like
now,
yesterday.
right? That was like when, like, it was on, right? Like, you trusted, you believed, you saw it, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's beautiful. I love how you brought up too, like, hey, you were killing it in the beginning, but same thing. I came in from a different insurance company, so I kind of like thought I knew everything. And by the way, I didn't know a whole lot. So being able to resonate with kind of that coachability piece is huge, because it's like, guys, no matter where you came from, how much money you made, things are going to look different in a different vehicle, so to say. We might be in the same industry, but we're riding a completely different car, right? So we want to make sure that coachability is always there. And I love that you're humble enough to share that, which is great. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
We just came out of, an amazing event. Ignite was awesome, right?
Yeah.
And there was so many different people there, and it was amazing. Now, every time I go to an event, KG, it seems like you're always there, which, like, I'm not shocked by the way, per your results, right? Talk to us a little bit about why you make that commitment, to yourself, to actually, get to those events and actually make sure you're still learning, even this far into the industry.
Absolutely. So I mean, the power, like, big decisions are made at big events. Um, I think going to an event kind of not kind of, but it does. It expands what you know what you're a part of. You get to really see what people are doing, how they're doing. There's so many different ways to do this business. And you get to see people like yourself that went through the same struggles, that, are, not making any excuses, just making a decision to want to win, and how they're winning and what they did to do that. and what resources and tools they're utilizing to be successful. And I feel like if you want to be like Kobe Bryant, right, or Steph Curry, or all these, big league players in basketball, you go to the All-Star game, right? You go meet with them person, you go talk to them. It's the same with insurance, right? If you want to be a top producer, if you want to scale your business, if you want to take things to the next level, you have to know what the next level looks like, right? You have to get the information. I mean, being at home around your broke family members and friends who can't take you to the next level is not going to do it. And think about it, this is a free event, right? Where it doesn't cost you anything, but it can cost you your future if you don't go. And I say this to say, like, when I look at leaders in the company, in any company, nobody ever got successful being at home and sticking around the same old people. You're the average of the people that you spend your time with, right? And for me, I have to get uncomfortable, and me being uncomfortable is getting around people who make more money than me and finding out what they're doing so that maybe I can fit that in my, formula to take everything to the next level, and meeting new people and networking, and not just me being there, but putting butts in seats, right? Getting people exposed to the bigger opportunity, because we don't make winners, we find them, right? And so as long as I do my part where I'm planting the seeds, right? Whichever flower grows is what's going to happen, but no flowers are going to grow in my garden. I can't build a business if, I'm not doing my part and getting people there. And because that's what I came here to do, to build a business. Now, can we always get better? Yeah. Like, I'm always getting better. There's definitely things about myself that I'm constantly fixing and tweaking and, just making better. But I think that with, when you have a self-evaluation and you kind of like make those adjustments very quickly, that's where the game changer is. Like, in the beginning, when I wasn't coachable, I made those adjustments very quickly once I found out it wasn't working. And if you look at, your bank account is like the certificate of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, those income producing activities. If you don't have any money in your bank account, more than likely you're doing something wrong in your business, and you need to go back to the basics and the fundamentals. And that's what they went over at the big event. They kept it very simple, going over the basics and the fundamentals and sticking to them and what people are doing. Like, I went my first big event. Well, first of all, for the practice company, that's what we did, period. Like, it was they soaked us with big events. Like, it was crazy. But with the first big event I went to, I was like, oh my God, this guy sells how much and makes how much. He's definitely not better than me. I could crush this. So it gave me belief, right? It gave me so many different things, just seeing people on stage and walk across stage who from all different backgrounds, even people who didn't speak English, like people who had like struggles with English, but still made it happen anyway. I'm like, and I speak English. I should be able to, you know what I'm saying? I should be able to get those same results. But I think that, this business is for everyone, but not everybody can do it, because not everybody is willing to do the fundamentals. And so I think that just constantly, going to these events and being reassured that I'm not doing anything wrong, or these are the things that I can do better. And just kind of like that, it's a reset for me. It's that button where it says, okay, yes, okay, what I'm doing is right. I'm supposed to get the no's. I'm supposed to go through the challenges. I'm supposed to get faced with debt here. Okay, this is normal. But you don't know it's normal if you're by yourself, and then you think something's wrong. It's just like if you don't plug into Live Dials, right? You're like, everybody's telling me no. Well, yeah, that's supposed to happen, but you stopped before you got the yes, right? If you were on Live Dials, somebody would have been able to tell you that, or you would have heard it and saw it. And so you got to be there. You got to be at the big decisions are made at big events. And once your mind gets expanded, it never goes back to its original form. It never goes back. Yeah,
I love that.
absolutely.
That's huge. And one of the biggest things that like you hit on, guys, events are amazing. Like you said, I feel the same way when I leave, like kind of like I hit that reset button. I know what I want to change in my business. I know what I want to implement, and I feel like I'm refueled and ready to go. But it's so important, guys. Like, you talked a lot about self-evaluating. It's like, if we don't know where we're at, right? Like, KG, I can't call you and be like, this is where you're at mentally, right? Like, you like what do you how would you ever know, right? Like, I wouldn't, right? But just like you said, if you're around something, it normalizes it, right? Like, if you're going through something, guys, like 100% of the time, someone else in this business has went through it. You're just either not seeking it out, or you're not wanting to ask for help, opinion, advice, and that's on you at the end of the day. Because one of my biggest problems when I came in, KG, was I was just scared to ask for help. Like I was like, oh, I just wanted to kind of like be on my own island and be like, it's gonna work. And it's like once I started talking to other people and asking for help, like things changed for me. And like I was like, oh,
Yeah.
what I'm doing is talking to other people. So I feel like I'm a part of something because I am. Guys, we're all across the country, but we're still a part of the same team at the end of the day, right? Like we also got each other's back. And what else I can tell you is not every insurance company is set up that way, guys. So all these people being willing to share, including but not limited to, our girl KG right now, it's like we have to go back and self-evaluate. I always talk about this and I will continue. Are we going back to the basics? Did we master the basics? Because we can master something, but then we can like unmaster it, right? Like in like a week.
Yeah.
It's like if you just started and you're a week in and you helped, 12 families, like that's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but you got to keep your head down and keep grinding because some of those are going to charge back, right? Like there's things that are going to come about. So getting yourself surrounded by the right, like by different people that are outside of your comfort zone, just like KG just said, like that is huge. And that is what's going to either make you or break you, so to say, in long term. So thanks for sharing that. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too.
Of course, of course. And you kind of mentioned this in the beginning, like coachability. I think when we come in, we all kind of have like this preconceived notion of like, this is what it's going to look like, even though we don't necessarily know what it's going to look like. What were some of the things that maybe you were told to implement or do at the very beginning, getting started, that maybe you didn't, but now you do, and you're like, okay, I probably should have, done that a while back.
Definitely invest in more in leads. Like now it's like, all right, I don't mind dropping the bread. You know what I mean? And I'm getting more uncomfortable. Well, it's getting more comfortable to be uncomfortable dropping the money for leads, right? And so, um, yeah, that I think that was the biggest one. Like not being cheap anymore. Like that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Um, I know like right now, like so when we talked about self-evaluation, one of the things that I'm getting back to is my 90 madman cycles, where every 90 days I'm going to, reevaluate because we have to force growth, right? And, in a period of my business where we're not really growing, right? We're growing now, but now I want to take it a step further, right? So now I want to start incorporating 90-day madman cycles. Now I want to start incorporating, okay, what are some of the agency owners doing with their team that, just like you guys that are putting yourself in position where you are growing, every step of the way. So just getting uncomfortable with that. Just adding new things to my business and, investing more. So like now I have $1. I just got her set up today. And, just adding more players, doing social media, being, intentional. Now I'm posting, I'm like, okay, I got lazy with posting reels. Let me start posting reels more. And engaging with people, and just, keep, even though I was posting already on social media, just doing more like self videos and, just getting uncomfortable and staying busy and making sure my calendar is full and being there for my teammates that need help, and being plugged in. So just the minor tweaks. So I'm excited now because, I got to spend a lot of time, with a lot of the leaders at the event, especially Jonna. If y'all haven't, I know y'all hear her name floating around all the time. I really got to pick her brain. And I'm like, all right, how can I, incorporate the things that she's incorporating? Like, I'm not where she is right now, but I can be and further, right? So now I'm looking into getting a nanny, making sure that somebody can be there to pick up, drop off, like I'm now incorporating all this stuff and I'm just excited about the growth that's going to come out of that. But it would have never happened unless I went to the big event. It wouldn't have happened unless I gotten uncomfortable and made sacrifices. Because I think sometimes too, we make a lot of money here. You can get very comfortable, right? And sometimes you don't know if you're comfortable unless someone is telling you. And most of the time, nobody's really going to tell you. But your bank account and your numbers will. Now, my bank didn't tell me that, but my numbers, I'm like, I'm tired of being stuck. So what can I do? Right. And so I really got a chance to this past week, because I ended up going in a little bit early, to West Palm. So I got a chance to kind of just sit down, game plan, put things together that, made sense for me, with what everybody was doing. and just kind of like, okay, let's see how this works. And if something doesn't work after 90 days, I can switch it and change it, right? And then talking to my leaders like, hey, this is what I'm doing. What do you think that I can do better? Right.
Mhm.
Because having a mentor is important. So I'm blessed to be able to have that. And I'm excited about this new wave that I'm going to create and new leaders. And, just it does require a lot of time. Your life is not going to be balanced. I'm all over the place. You would never know that though, because I make it look good. But I think for a short period of time when you make a decision, nothing's gonna be balanced ever. Right, it's gonna feel like it's all over the place, but when you put the elbow grease in now, your future self will thank you, because then later on you look at a lot of leaders that put the work in up front. They're not with the clients anymore. They're either teaching people how to be with the clients, or they're talking about their story and what they did, how to get to where they got to, and they're traveling, they're enjoying, they're having fun. That's where I want to be now. And what with that being said, you got to find out why you came here, what you want out of this deal, and then run the system that's in place to get whatever it is that you want. And everybody comes here for something different. And so for me, you know what I mean? Like, I want the efforts of 1% of 100 people versus 100% of one person. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to come in spare time and you want to help just one family to, maybe, I don't know, buy a TV, or that's one family that got help that I didn't have to help. That's one more family that got the help that they needed. So I want to pour into as many people as possible to teach them how to get what they want out of this deal. And then in that, we're, birthing out leaders that want to come here and take it to the next level and do something great.
And Net, you just hit on so many different like key points, and thank you for that. Like I was like, I need to let her rip because she's ripping. Guys, if you don't know what a 90-day madman cycle is, it's like you're putting your head down with a serious intention, and you're not going to stop for 90 days, no matter what. Whether, like you fall asleep in the middle of it, like you're somehow going to wake yourself back up. Guys, it's about going after a goal for 90 days and being dead set on it. So if you're like, what's a 90-day madman cycle? It's getting things done for 90 days that you have to, that will hopefully change your business in the direction you want to push it in, right? And that's a beautiful thing, guys. KG led with, kind of the biggest thing she was lacking in the beginning was that investment in leads. Now, I think a lot of us do that in the beginning. I think that a lot of us, once we figure it out, realize like, oh, if I just put like 1,000 in at the beginning, I might have been, a bit more solid, but here we are. So learning and growing. And I love how you said, like, you're getting uncomfortable through each and every process. It's like, if you remain comfortable right now, KG, like, you might be able to make ends meet, but you're not going to do what you want to do. You're not going to grow a massive organization, right? Nor am I.
Right.
If we just
Right.
like, oh, this is it, right? We arrived, right? It's like,
yeah.
What I hear you saying is like, I didn't arrive. Like, I'm still putting work in, and I'm getting it done no matter what.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of sacrifices that are going to be made. I'm going to actually hit on this with you in a second, but it sounds like what you said, you're like, I went to West Palm like a day or two early and just kind of sat with myself, so to say, figuring out what changes I want to make. Guys, like, sometimes we got to slow down to speed up. Now, other times, right? Like, it's like that's slowing down to speed up, because I know you were like, okay, I'm intentional with this day. You weren't like, oh, I got a day off. Like, you were like, no, I'm going to be very intentional with this time, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, guys, some of us are like still on here and we don't have a schedule. It's like, guys, like that is not slowing down to speed up. If you don't have a schedule, I need you to speed up, and then we can slow down later, because like you're on the other track. You're not getting uncomfortable, and that's the problem. As we reach different levels in this business, whether it's production, it's bringing teammates on, it's building a massive organization, you're going to have different places you got to be uncomfortable. And then once you start getting comfortable, it's bound that you find somewhere else to be uncomfortable in the business. If you don't, you're going to die in it, right? Like, that's just how it works. And then as it pertains to, okay, you mentioned you're like, I'm a mom, you would never know, I'm all over the place, right? So tell us a little bit about, like your schedule. You were like, you also mentioned no white space. Like, talk to us a little bit about how you kind of manage like your time with being a mom, but also being a business owner.
Oh yeah. It's well, one thing I can say is I have a lot of conversations with my son about what I'm doing, right? And I
And if
think that's
you don't mind
important.
me asking, sorry to interrupt you,
No
how
worries.
old is your son?
He just turned 9.
Okay. Love
Yeah.
it.
So he was birthed in the business. But he's
Yes.
kind of used to it now. But yeah, no, I always have conversations with him like, what's mommy going after? He's like, the red jacket. I'm like, what does that require? You need to do your appointments and work. I'm like, all right, cool. But when we get the goals met, we can go have fun and do whatever we want, right? And he's like, yep. And so we're sold out to it. So that, that gives me that driving force. Like, I need to get this done so I can spend the time with him and do the things that he loves to do. So I don't have to hear his mouth afterwards, right? Um, but schedule is so important. That is literally one of the most like one of the most important things that is conducive to your success here. Because if you don't treat this like a job, it's not going to pay you like a business. It's going to pay you like a hobby. And as you guys know, hobbies don't pay any. It doesn't pay at all. Period. Right. So for me, I'm very strict with my time. So like 9 a.m. and before that I'm taking him to school and getting my life together. But 9 a.m. is when I start dialing. And I'm booked every hour until about 7, and that's Monday through Friday. And then Saturday, I typically do about 9 a.m. to about 4 or 5, and then I'm off on Sunday. And then as far as no white spaces on my calendar, so well, number one, I make sure I have fresh leads each and every week. I don't, and the crazy part about it is the lead source that we have with the CRM is so good. I don't even have time to call bronze leads or even buy them, right? So now I have like all new leads, which don't get me wrong, love the bronze leads, but I use that to get started to get to where I'm at right now, right? So they do work. And so having enough leads and then doing one call closes. So I'm like, when I'm on the phone dialing, I'm dialing back to back to back to back to back. Like, boom, hang up, nope, next, nope, next, nope, next. Yes, perfect, let's go. Nope, you're not ready, Kate. Follow up, boop. Like, I'm hitting each and every number back to back, right? And then if there, my
And
goal
just
is,
to stay there for 1 second, right? Like when
yeah,
you're going at it on the phone, because like there's two different ways you can dial, right? You could be dialing, taking all day to dial, or like, you can like get it done and rip through
yeah,
it, right? So it's like when you're saying like, let's just say you have 100 leads you're calling through, okay, just for the sake of this
mm-hmm.
conversation. Like, how many times are you calling that first lead before you go to the next one? Like, talk to us, like.
So I still do the 3 times each. I know there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do it the Dominique Rogers way, right? I do the 3 times each. I got my CRM that's dripping on them. And I think the CRM is amazing. Like, it literally does everything that I don't have time to do and that I can't do. So it's been a huge asset to my business. Again, another thing I had to like get uncomfortable and purchase. I'm like, another monthly bill. Yes, it is, Karyn, because that's what's going to help you elevate your business. So, you know, my mindset. I'm always talking to myself like, nope, this is gonna help you. Nope, this is gonna help you. So yeah. So and then my goal is every number I'm dialing is a one call close. If they're not available, my goal is to get them that same day or next day and nothing past that. Right. And then this is where I'm glad I'm getting, my dollar starts today, because then now she's gonna be booking for me while I'm also booking for myself. So I'm gonna be double booked every hour, right? Um, and then, I do have the recruiting campaign where, again, recruits are getting on my calendar, but I also have a system in place that I just started as well, where, I'm sending out the text to people, getting them to refer me to people that they know. Every time I get off the phone with a client, hey, listen, I'm looking for people that I can help teach how to make 6 figures or more, doing this very important thing that we do today, which is selling insurance and helping families. We have over 2 million requests of people who are looking for coverage. We don't have enough agents nationwide. Who do you know that has an entrepreneurial spirit? Who do you know that works more than one job, that's struggling, that, was like me, where I worked 5 jobs? Who do you know that wants to change their family dynamics? Who do you know that's the black sheep in their family? Who do you know that's, excited or money motivated? If you know anyone, right? Or who comes to mind right away that you can think of that's interested in making more money part-time or full-time, if the money were right, that is hardworking and great with people. And like, even if they don't, like, most people are giving me 1 or 2 people, right? But then if they don't give me anyone, I'm getting these random texts of people like, hey, reach out to my cousin. She's a real estate, whatever. She does this. She's struggling, but I think she could do something like this. When I was in West Palm, like, I'm shopping. I went shopping, right? Because again, if you're making money too, what I was also told and being mentored is that you also have to sell the lifestyle, right? Nobody gets sold to working 100% sun up to sundown and they don't see you having fun. And like for me, I got comfortable being at home, working from home. I'm like, I don't gotta go nowhere. I don't gotta, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, let me get out, let me drop some bread, this, that, and the third. So, I went shopping. I got people involved. Like I got the bartenders involved. I'm like, look, you okay with being on camera? Cause I'm a vlog. Like I sell the lifestyle. They're like, go ahead, I'll be in the video. I'm like, all right, perfect. And then I'm also talking to them about the opportunity. And then people are overhearing me talk about it. I'm showing my checks. Like I was on a rampage this week in West
Amen.
Palm. Yeah. So I came back to like, hey, I'm ready. I got Facebook requests. Hey, I'm ready. I got TikTok. Hey, I'm ready. I got the guys that I was talking to that, working at the stores where most people aren't coming in because the outfits are like $100 or more a piece. They're like, I saw your checks. I thought it was a scam at first. I'm seeing all these young people like me on social media making money. And I didn't think it was real. And like, you didn't press me out. You're not pushy, like none of that. And all these other companies tried to talk to me, Amway, all these other fluke companies. And like, I want to do what you're doing. And so like, I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's see if you're a good fit. So it's just, I got back excited again. You know what I mean? Like, I
100%.
and keep in mind, Marisa, I was on a roll before I left and went to West Palm, right? But like you said, sometimes you got to take 10 steps back to take 30 steps forward. And that is something that is very uncomfortable for me, to have to stop when I'm on a roll and take a step back just to say, okay, I don't want to be the only one winning. And I always tell my team this is not the Karyn show. I need more people. And if I don't have anyone that I can point to and say, this is what this person is doing, you could do it too. I need to go find some motivated and hungry people. I need to find some people that want to run with me. And so I'm excited. I do have people that are running with me. I do have people that are popping out. Again, it's not just from my efforts, and you got to be your first explosion. So I know for me, I have to get uncomfortable and continue to be a top producer, because all we owe our team is an example and an opportunity. The right ones will wake up and see what you're doing and want to play. But
Right.
if you're not moving and wanting to play, because they talked about this at the big event too, if you're not working, like what and who are they going to follow, right? So when you look in the mirror every day, I always like to ask myself, are you somebody that someone would want to follow? If you hired you right now, with what you're doing right now, with your work ethic and your schedule and the amount of time you're putting in, your mindset and your thinking and the way that you're talking, would you keep you around? Would you even want to hang with you?
Mm.
Right? And so, like I said, I don't always get it right, but most cases I do, because I like the results of winning. And when you have a funky attitude, when you're not working, when you don't have a schedule, when you're a Debbie Downer, when you're looking at the leads like, oh my God, they're going to say no. Why should I even call them today? Of course, nothing's going to happen. You're not even speaking the right things about yourself and your business. So getting uncomfortable and speaking the right things in your business, making the sacrifices to go to the next level, reevaluating yourself every 90 days, having a game plan in place, sticking close to your leadership, getting uncomfortable and running with the people who have what you want, and getting like, because someone told me very early on, like, I think it was Frank or Jamie and a lot of the other leaders, if you just put your head down for a few years, your entire life could change. The only reason why I'm still here after a few years is because I didn't make the decisions on certain things early on that I should have done that I'm doing now. And that's okay. But now that I know, now it's a wrap. It's time to grow. It's time to grow, elevate. And like Kali said, our mission for the team, the entire team, the entire hierarchy is give, grind, grow.
I love that. Give, grind, grow. Yeah. Give,
Yeah.
grind, grow. That's fire. Actually, I love that. And that actually speaks like perfectly for all of y'all. So I love that. I love that. Now, KG just hit like, I was like, I'm gonna let her rip because like she's ripping, right? But like, okay. So like just take a quick step back. Like she makes sure her son is on the same page as her. They go out, they have fun, they do their thing, but he's aware mom's at work, mom's working, mom got things she got to get done, mom got goals to hit for us, not just for mom, right? So that's huge. And then how you talked about the opportunity, right? I think that this is like one thing, I used to also work at a captive company, right? Now,
Yeah.
we used to in where I worked, right? We were right next to like this big mall here in Mass, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And what they would do when our recruits were low, which was like all the time, but that's besides the point. Like to them, like recruits were low if there wasn't like 200 people in the door, right? they would tell us like, hey, like go to the mall and don't come back until you have 5 people's phone numbers that are interested in talking to your manager, right?
Yeah.
Like I used to go do that, right? Like I did, like everyone that worked there did, like you probably did something similar. That's where, and the other day I took this, I'm like, dude, like I'm in the best vehicle I've ever been in. And I'm not like at the mall recruiting people. Like why not? Like why am I above that?
Yeah.
Like why was that opportunity so good? Which it wasn't, by the way, because I'm here, or it wouldn't be.
Hmm.
That I felt so like so good to go recruit these people at the mall, right? Like that's kind of like it's kind of when you ain't shopping, you're working, right? So it's
Yeah.
like like guys, the opportunity we have here, it's not for everybody because not everybody's gonna work and want to work in this type of industry environment, want to get better, want to grow themselves, want to level up, want to give, grind, and grow. Quite frankly, to be honest, not everybody's gonna want to do that. But when you see somebody, whether that's your server, that's your Uber driver, that's the person who's helping you out at the mall, whoever it is, and you're like, I might want to work with this person. They seem expose them to the opportunity. What I typically will be like, and like you drop so many good one-liners that like I'm so happy this is recorded, guys, because we should all go back and like write all those one-liners down because they were perfect and they're very non-aggressive. It's like when we're recruiting people, we shouldn't be like, so KG, you joining or what? Like, because I make this much money a month. It's like, okay, that's great and everything. But like, let's just start about where they're at. Like, are you happy in the opportunity you're currently in? Like, like, is this the plan? Like, like that's what I used to ask people. Like, is this the plan? Like that was my one line, right? It's like it's you might be like, that's kind of rude. Well, I'm just wondering, like, if someone asked me, like, is this the plan? I'll be like, yeah, this is the damn plan. Like, what's up? Like, like I ain't going nowhere. So it's like
Yeah.
expose it. Like, I love that you shared that because that's huge, guys, and that's how you get pops in your business and you meet people that you never would have necessarily met if you didn't just open your mouth and share the opportunity. And also, it takes you, KG, correct me if I'm wrong, probably less than a minute at the end of that conversation with the client to simply expose the opportunity. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
It's
Definitely.
like you ain't on the phone all day, like you sell your clients and you're selling them on the business. You're just like,
Yeah.
insert one liner and move on, right? So I
Yeah.
love that. And are you someone that you'd want to follow? I love how you're like, I look in the mirror, I ask myself these questions each and every day. Guys, like that's so important because guess what, KG? I ask myself all the time. I look in the mirror pretty much every day, if not every other day. And I say, if you were your boss, would you fire you? And sometimes that answer is yeah, I would that day. But guess what? I have to learn from that experience to be able to grow and say, hey, well, tomorrow you're gonna make your dials. Tomorrow you're gonna be on time. Tomorrow you're gonna fix your schedule. Whatever it is, guys, we all have something, okay? But when you can start asking yourself and be authentic of where you're actually at, it's gonna make this process a heck of a lot easier. Last couple things, you also said like funky attitude. I was like, you're like, you all hear your funky attitude. Like, guys, like we all pick up the phone and we all dial. Whether that's new leads, old leads, the best leads, the secret leads. There's not secret leads, there's not the best leads, by the way, guys. Like I'm being rhetorical, but it's like we all wake up and we all dial in some facet. We all talk to people, right? Like, KG, do people hang up on you?
Yeah. Shoot.
Yeah, me too, right? Like, and we've been doing this thing for a long time, but like we just accepted like people are gonna hang up on us. Like, does it bother you anymore?
No, because you got to be sold out to the numbers. Like this is a numbers business, right? Numbers and systems. It's not about feelings. It's not about what you feel for the day. It's not about what you want. But as long as you work the numbers, you get everything you want, or the numbers will beat you out the business. So, this is why we have a system in place. You follow the dial tracker sheet. The dial tracker sheet is going to tell us one or two things. You're either not working or there's something you're saying we need to fix to help you get better results. And so I'm not that good. I can't sit up and work just a couple hours and book 4 appointments and think I'm going to have a solid day. No, whether they're old leads or new leads, you got to put in that elbow grease. You got to put in that sweat equity so that you can get the results like everyone else that's winning at a high level, right? It's not easy, but it's worth it, right? Because you pay the price now, you won't ever have to look at the price. And I'm excited. This week I did not have to look at the price. I was like, just run it. I got it. Just run it. I got it. But at one point, guys, I wasn't there, and I'm not where I want to be. But where I am now is where I prayed to be 10 years ago. And so you got to count your small wins. You got to give yourself grace, right? Give yourself 60 to 90 days of just going hard at it, being consistent and persistent. Those are the ones who win. Because if you haven't noticed, a lot of people who went at a high level very quickly, they're not here anymore. And you want to know why? Because they're not consistent or persistent, right? Slow and steady wins the race, but you still got to be, on it when you need to be on it. And so don't let that fool you. Don't let somebody that's winning at a high level, right? And just, they're not consistent or persistent. Don't let that fool you. There's a lot of top producers, a lot of people that made a lot of money here that they're not here now. Right. And it's because somewhere along the line, they weren't following the system. I don't care how good you are, but as long as you focus on the numbers and you focus on being persistent and consistent, and you have a system in place and you have a positive attitude and a will to win, you will be fine. Right. I'm not the biggest salesperson, right? At all. I'm not. And there's a lot of people doing way better than me, but I'm on track to the route that I need to be on for where I need to be, where they are, and then some. And I don't care how long it takes, right? But like I said, as long as you're consistent, persistent, you have a positive attitude, and you work the numbers, and you stick to the fundamentals, you never know when your time is going to come. One day you're going to wake up and it's going to be like, wow, because things just like, as I kept going, guys, in this business, things just started clicking for me. Now I don't know how not to sell.
Yeah.
I don't. But before I was like, oh my gosh, how are people doing this? I remember when me and Kali were struggling to try to figure out how to write 20 grand in a month. Now it's like, oh, you get what I'm saying? So just stick to it. Like, it's okay. Nobody's great when they first start. And you might be here for a few months and you haven't gotten paid yet. But I'm telling you, if you stay plugged in, if you stick to the system, and you self-evaluate, I'm telling you right now, you're going to wake up one day and it's going to be like, oh, snap, I get it now.
For sure. And, it's like, guys, it's like at every level, you want to just get to that next level. But like you said, earlier in the conversation, KG, you're like, what I was praying for 10 years ago is where I am, right now, not necessarily where I fully want to be in life, but like I am making moves. I'm getting to that next level. And that's what it's about, guys. So consistent and persistent, positive attitude, track your numbers. This is it's a numbers game. Emotions don't count. Like it's not like if you get like upset at like a 10 that like you're going to get paid. Like you're definitely not going to get paid if you're bringing yourself to a 10, getting upset about how Miss Mary hung up on you and you only have 12 leads. Sounds like, again, we got to self-evaluate and figure out why are we getting upset about that. Guys, you absolutely, KG, you killed this call. I don't even have any other questions to ask you because you covered it like just so well. But guys, couple of quick things I do just want to hit back on as it pertains to what KG just said. Self-evaluation, self-talk, right? Consistent and persistent, positive attitude, willingness to win, coachability. All of these things are what's going to bring you to the next level that you want to go to. Now, it might not bring you to that the one after that, but guess what? If you start stacking the deck in your favor now, things are going to, come great out of it. KG, last thing before we wrap this call up, 2 questions. Will you be attending annual convention? With your opening, I'm probably going to go with yes, but if so, let us know. And then what are your goals wrapping up 2024, whether that's business, personal, or kind of both?
Absolutely. So yeah, convention is already paid for. That's done. And again, guys, even if you don't know if you're going to go, lock it in anyway, because what you put out there, what you manifest always comes out to be true. If you say you're going to go, you're going to go. If not, you're going to find any excuse not to. And like I said, if you don't go, I'm sorry to be this blunt with you, but you're probably not going to make it far. And like I said, even though it doesn't, well, you're paying a small price, right? But, for most of our trainings and events, it doesn't cost anything, but it can cost you the future of your business for your family and your income when you don't make the decision to be plugged in. It's like a cell phone. If you don't plug in your phone for a day, it's going to die. Well, so will your dreams if you don't plug in, right? So I really believe that wholeheartedly, like it's too many people winning at a high level that are plugged in, and it's too many people losing at a high level that aren't. And so you got to make your choice, right? And then for me, yeah, like I said, Marisa, all these little changes that I told you guys that I didn't tell anybody that I was making, but I'm making these changes. I think you guys are like the first to know. But all these changes that I'm making, my goal for the team, let's say we are in October, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. By June, I definitely want to be at over a 500,000. And
No
then by
doubt.
the yeah, and then by the end of the year of 2020, well, 2025 going into 2026, definitely $1 million a month. And it probably can definitely happen sooner than that, but that's the time frame that I've given myself.
I love that. That's your drop
Team.
dead. And no doubt that you're going to hit those goals. And guys, just like KG said, like, you're not going to be a convention. Like, we love you, but you should just leave now. And like, like it's as blunt as that. But I love that. I love your goals. I love how you're looking out not only for yourself, KG, but when you start making it a we process, it becomes
Yeah.
amazing and it becomes life changing. Like to see other people's lives change in that process as well. So I'm really thankful for you. I'm really thankful for your whole team. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thanks so much for being on
Yeah.
and just dropping fire on here. I appreciate you.
I appreciate all of you guys. Marisa, thank you. Thank you, team. I love this family that we have. And I will be reaching out because I also have questions that I didn't get to ask at the event.